Aryans, right? Europeans. What they would do is they would, just rape these slaves several times. Like, oh man, men couldn't protect their buttholes. Wow, it was terrible, right? And this was occurring all the time. So sexual violence is something that was weaponized and it was used by slave owners against slaves, particularly black men. And like I said, so that's just something that I just had to talk about. These nasty, nasty European Caucasian men. It's in their blood, as you can see it, right? So sagging is, like I said, going back to men sagging their pants, right? They would sag their pants. So sagging started in slavery again when the homosexual slave master would rape young black slaves. That's why they say young buck. It's called buck breaking. You were forced to wear your pants below your waist so other homosexual slave owners would see that you were already buck broken. Because remember, these nasty European individuals, that's what they lived on. Raping men. It's something that they love. They love the smell of doo-doo. They love the smell of poop, blood. It's just nasty. It's just what they are. So as we can, I could give you a little knowledge too. This wasn't only done in North America. This was also done in the Caribbeans. Like for example, I'll give you some Caribbean countries that endured these nasty, nasty European homosexuals, white men that used to love going in their booty holes, right? So we got Cuba, fell victim to buck breaking. Barbados fell victim to buck breaking. Bahamas fell victim to buck breaking. The Cayman Islands fell victim to the buck breakings. Curacao fell, victims to the butt breakings. The Dominican Republic, the Spanish used to love going in their buttholes as well. You got Grenada. These slave masters, used to love buck breaking them. Guadalupe was a victim. Haiti was victim, but some of these men, they eventually fought back against the French because the French was also applying these buck breaking maneuvers, right? Jamaica too, the Englishmen, these nasty Englishmen back in those times, they were enjoying their buttholes. Martinique, Montserrat was another one too, that was victimized. Puerto Rico, yeah, Puerto Rico was buck breaking. Saint Bartholomew was buck breaking. Saint Kitts was buck breaking. Um, Saint Vincent was buck breaked by these nasty, nasty individual slaves. Trinidad and Tobago was another one that fell to victims of buck breaking. Turks and Caicos was another one that was, uh, you know, uh, victims to buck breaking. The United States Virgin Islands was buck breaking. Dominica was, buck breaked. Bahamas, if I didn't say it, was another one that was buck breaking. So these were, Caribbean men that were eventually, being buck breaking. So if a slave was defiant, right, like men that would fight back, try to protect their wives, their children from being raped by these nasty European men, okay, that like the smell of doo-doo and poop and blood. So what would happen is, like me talking like this around that time, I would have got buck breaking because I'm delivering this message to you, right? I would have been a victim. But I don't think so because I would have fought back. I probably would have, did what I had to do, take 3, 4 out. And then eventually they would have to hang me or do worse, right? But yeah, so defiant slaves, what they were doing, when you handcuffed, they would handcuff them, shackle their legs and stuff like that, so you really couldn't resist. That's the same method that the police officers use today. You're under arrest, and they would put both of your hands, behind your back, and they'll take you away. And that was also a formation that they would do to these slaves. They'll put their hands behind their back and cuff them, and hold both of their arms while they're ramming hard as they can as they mustard and blood and doodoo and semen, all that nasty peanut butter jelly stuff, right? Would would come out. So like I said, man, these are some individuals that were very, 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 very. Oh man, it was very tough back in those days, and till this day too. Um, you still got these nasty individuals that's still here, right? So, men without pants, right? It was just basically showing the masculinity of the micro penis Europeans, right? That's one of the reasons too. Like they used to love, raping Africans, right? So, for example, um, you had, it was basically these slave owners used to apply psychological terrorism, right? And that's what it was. It was a psychological terrorism. So they would, a slave owner, it was just a way to emasculate enslaved boys and men by denying them to the right to wear pants because, they want to see their buttholes jiggle. And that's how the white men would actually fiend or would starve for these men's buttholes, right? So sometimes too, they used to force African American boys and men to wear dresses, right, certain way, like lingeries back in the days, just to feminize them and humiliate them on a daily basis. And sometimes other slave owners would go to other plantations and they would like, ooh, who's that black man? He got a big butt. I want to go in him. And then that's what they would do, right? And this was something that was practiced in the Deep South, like I said. South Carolina, Mississippi, Oklahoma, all the southern states. So if you can see these individuals today, back in the days, their ancestors and some of them that are still living, they used to like dookie, in their private parts. So that was something that they really, really love. So right now, it's like, it was highly sexualized, a nature for young black men, to be getting raped by these slave owners, right?